Hey, Brian and Hazel here. And today I'm going to try to stick more with the topics that I intended to talk about, as it seems the last couple of videos we got into some old elaborations and stories about businesses in the beginning when I started in business. And, just a recap, I'm not operating any what I call frontline businesses now, such as retail or anything really on the front lines. The last business that I operated, I had a lot of fun. It was great. I'm going to tell you, it was great. It was a sports bar. And I'm going to use that example to explain to you how funds can be used. Now, I'm not saying use this exact example. I'm using it so that you can kind of understand the mathematics involved. So in other words, if I normally am going to buy $100,000 worth of food and beverage for the week. And in our business bank account, for example, we only have $50,000, but our revenues are great. And again, because it's a sports bar and we had a lot of customers, there's a lot of transactions. Alternative financing loves transactions. We had daily deposits. I know you've seen, or sometimes maybe seen someone with the little blue bank bag that's heading to the bank. So we had a lot of deposits. Now, at any given time, if let's say I'm going to spend 100,000. We would never do that. I'm just saying, I'm going to spend 100,000 that week on food and beverage. And let's say it was a consolidated vendor who offered both. And the consolidated vendor said, hey, listen, I'll give you $100,000 value, wholesale value, what you normally take from me, for $75,000, and I know we only have $50K in the bank. Well, I immediately see that if I can provide the vendor with $100K right off the bat, I'm $25,000 ahead. So in other words, these are the type of situations in which you use this money. Again, it's short term sometimes. So in that situation, you would want to turn it as soon as you possibly could. You know how long it takes you. Well, you should know how long it takes you to turn inventory. One thing that I always did, which I noticed a lot of other people didn't do, is I understood what my monthly revenues were, and I would divide that by the number of operational days in the month. So if you only operated between Monday and Saturday at 4 weeks a month, at 24 operational days, and you make X amount a month, you'll understand your daily break-even, number one, and what your average daily revenue amount is. I would say that understanding transfers over to anything that you're doing. So please try to understand that, because in some certain senses, when you're applying for business funding to do something like this, You want to do it from a level of looking down, sky down into the trees, looking at the bigger picture. What can this money do for me? How can it create maximum leverage? How can it bring me farther than I was before? Here's the good thing. If every single week you're just barely doing the same thing that you did before, we're making it, we're paying our bills, maybe you do need to come up with another concept that's going to add to that. And if that concept that you come up with requires extra capital, then I think that could completely change your scenario. So in understanding changing your scenario, I'll give you another example. What if you needed a piece of equipment that you were anticipating as the hurricane season arrives, that you could take down to the Gulf states and understand exactly how much you can make off of that equipment? This is if you're already possibly in the excavating space now, and you have that added piece of equipment, and you already go down there, and you've seen in the past how other people have used these types of machinery. The one that I'm talking about is like a diesel stump grinder. It may cost you 6 figures. We're not trying to finance the whole thing. But what you can do, if it does cost you $100K, let's go back to the $100K, and you need $20K as a down payment for it, you need $10K, okay, on a down payment for the trailer to haul it, and you need another $20K for a down payment for the tractor. This is what I'm talking about. Use it to get ahead. Thank you.